Greetings, community. It's Kevin from 1-2 Comic Talk. How you doing? It's another Margarita Monday. It's good to see everybody here. I want everyone to know that we are coming up on our 1-year anniversary, Kai and I, and that's only 2 days away. Kai presently right now is working with my daughter's boyfriend on actually doing a, you might not believe this, hey, Lewis, but an edited clip, an edited video is actually being worked on for us. I know it's a little out of the ordinary, but we're compiling a bunch of clips from over the year. So we're going to drop that on Wednesday, and I hope that everyone, will come and check that out. I haven't really decided exact time, but more than likely it'll be around 1, somewhere between that 1 to 2 type era. Before I continue, I just want to again wish everyone happy Margarita Monday. Hope you brought your drink. Hey, Ben, how you doing, man? Hope you're doing well. And I wanted to talk about a few books real quick. I invited a few individuals to show up. If they show up, cool. If not, cool. However, I do want to talk about a few books that I find significant that are going to be dropping this Wednesday. And I'll start off with Sweetheart. Mr. Dylan Giberson has a story that's basically a metaphor for type 1 diabetes. And it's similar to a storyline of vampiric type storyline. It's done in a way to where you have a little bit of, I guess, would be considered empathy for the victims, and it's done in a way that's so graphic and something that you can relate to as far as the read, that you have a small understanding of what it is to be a type 1 diabetic. Now, me, I can't speak for type 1 diabetics other than I live with one, my daughter, and I was the one that broke the information to her. So the story does mean a lot to me, and it was something that I'd given to my daughter to read because of that. And we had done a interview with Dylan. As we all know, it's been some time since we've been able to receive certain amount of books at a certain duration of time because of just the COVID situation. Finally, Sweetheart number 2 is able to be launched. Hey, JB, nice to see you, sir. And that will be this Wednesday. So that was one of the books that I wanted to talk about, which was Sweetheart number 2. You still have the ability to go out and get Sweetheart number 1. It's not going to be a whole long arc. Hopefully it continues beyond this single arc. It will be a minimum of 5. I think it's 6 issues. It's a great story. It's a great metaphor. It's a great understanding of what it is to be living with a disease that is always haunting and taunting you. And I just recommend it for nothing else. The great story. Along with it, the artist, I know I'm going to butcher his name, so I'll just start with just Francesco, I believe is. Does great work and gives this gritty detail that is also haunting and a little horrific at moments. You feel it. You really do. Next story I want to talk. Next book I want to speak about is Canto. Canto is a story that brought Kai and I together as far as wanting to be on YouTube. It was something that when we had left the signing event that we had spoke about. I don't think we've ever talked about this point. When we left the signing event with Mr. David Boer, across the street from it is a famous hot dog stand called Pink's. At that area, there was a Pokemon gym. And Kai had asked me, hey, man, you mind we go over there? I want to go ahead and do a little Pokemon thing over at the gym. I said, sure. On the way over there, we had a discussion about having the privileges that we do, in the sense of meeting so many people that we do, knowing so many people that we do, as far as the people that run the shops, people and so forth, that we wanted to share that with people beyond the style con event stuff, something that was a little more intimate. And in that, we had also developed the Artist Alley down the road with Chrissy Shin. And we wanted to maintain that integrity and that style of something that's really, I guess, intimate and raw, something that you don't normally, I guess, have in a format that I guess is conceived as being conventional. I don't know if all this makes sense, but it was something that, again, this was the discussion Kai and I had, just going across the street over at Pink's and him playing his Pokemon, and together we decided that it would be fun to be able to go, because right after that we went to another signing event, which was Derek Hunter's signing event for Pretty Violet #1, which again, that was another story had brought Kai and I really close, and it was our first piece that we'd got as a 1-2 comic talk dedicated piece from Derek Hunter that he ended up drawing as an art piece for us, and that started us right there. That's really what started us, and that was now July 22nd as it. So it's only, I guess, serendipitous that Kanto, the first story that brought us together and was the inspiration for the aspiration to do 1-2 comic talk, which again also was something that Kai had named. He coined the name. And we are now again coming up on July 22nd, where Kanto, the Clockwork Fairies, is dropping on that very same day. And it's just, I don't know, it's kind of surreal that Kai and I get to do this. As I said, we're doing this video, that we're dropping this video, that we're able to pick up these books, Sweetheart, Kanto. The other ones that I'm going to make mention that are coming out is Warcorns, which Garrett Gunn wrote, and it's another story that Kai and I really gravitated to as far as the Franklin and Ghosts stuff. And then the other one that's coming out this Wednesday, and my mind's drawing a blank, unfortunately, and I was hoping you would end up showing up here too. My brain went away. I bet I can find it on my phone. But all these stories that are dropping this Wednesday, oddly enough, are stories that had brought Kai and I together, that inspired Kai and I to do this 1-2 comic talk. And it's just so awesome that these stories are coming out at this time. And we're celebrating our 1-year anniversary at the same time. I'm not seeing it, oddly enough. I know I ordered it. So I don't know. It's kind of filling me with a lot of warmth and just memories. I guess there's a lot of nostalgia cruising through. Oh man, yes, JB, you're right. Kai and I, that's why I'm highlighting this. We have a rather modest. Well, it was mostly me, I guess. Kai's happy where he's at. You know, a modest goal of hitting 365 for 365. I just wanted to hit 1 sub, you know, so for each day. So yeah, we're almost there. JP, thanks, man. I appreciate it. And it's to make the announcement, hopefully, we already put up, everything is lined up as we go to pick up our books and we do our reading of Kanto and the Clockwork Fairies. Mr. David Boer and Drew Zucker made statement that they would like to join us again. To regress and get back, I also want to make a statement of another person that really had a big impression on 1-2 Comic Talk, as I made mention, was Dylan. And Dylan Gilbertson wrote Sweetheart, as I was talking about earlier. And I would like to bring him aboard and welcome to the bar.
Hey, y'all. How's it going?
Sir. I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Thanks for asking. How are things? How's life?
All considered, I can't really complain much. Seriously, I'm okay. You?
I'm also doing all right. I can complain a little bit just from my work schedule is crazy. I'm working a lot of overnights, a lot of sporadic overnights, and so my sleep schedule is in shambles. And so, but other than that, I won't complain too much. Other than that.
And I was actually talking about my daughter and her numbers, but I didn't make mention, which I am now. She's actually been ill the past couple of days.
Oh no!
Well, your numbers been erratic. How have your numbers been since you're doing nights?
So my numbers used to be really high when I was doing overnights before I got my insulin pump that communicates also with the continuous glucose monitor.
Mm-hmm.
But since I got that, it's been way easier. So during During the nights, it doesn't spike nearly as much. It's usually at a pretty even level. Yeah, it's so not too bad since I got this new device. It's pretty awesome.
Good.
Does
So you're just
does your
at
daughter
this
use a
point.
pump at all, or does she use injections? Does she sort of use needles?
She was one of the first people that pioneered one of the first pumps last
Oh, right
year.
on. Yeah,
Yeah. So she went through, I mean, the training. Well, I don't have to explain to you. I guess I'm explaining to the community. The
sure.
training that's involved on those things is rather immense, and you have to be rather diligent. However, if you are, as you well know, I mean, the reduction in the maintenance and what you have to do to yourself, is rather convenient. I guess,
Yeah, I used to carry around like the needles come in like those little plastic bags, and I just rip one open and then throw a bottle of insulin into the bag, and so I'd just be walking around with this sack of needles in my pocket at all times. Um, and it's nice to not like have to feel weird about making people at parties uncomfortable when you pull out a needle and start shooting up and stuff, or have to go to the bathroom to do it or whatever. You just have to explain that what you're typing in numbers on isn't a beeper to everybody all the time.
No, and that's cool, man. I'm glad. That's what I mean. Again, I don't have to explain to you, but the convenience behind that, in comparison to what you have to go through, is immense, and that's so good. I mean, as far as that is concerned, other than the fact that you're not getting no sleep and your numbers have been since the pump,
Right.
I mean, how are you managing to do any form of work in there?
Well, so during so when I get back from I usually go to my overnight around 7:30, and then I get back around 6 o'clock the next morning, and then I sleep, and then I just crash and sleep until about noon or 1, in the PM, and then if I have another overnight, then I can just use those 5 or 6 hours to do writing or check up on emails and things like that, check submissions and whatnot. So it's not too bad. You're just a little more tired when you're doing it. So quick plug. Sweetheart number 2 comes out this Wednesday, which is very exciting. But so a relevant story is that I think it might have been 2 weeks ago. I was working my third overnight, and our complex was doing work on our roof, and they would start work at 8 a.m. And I can kind of block it out with earplugs and stuff, but
Sure.
my dog cannot. And so my dog was losing his mind, and I couldn't sleep because of the dog. And so I was getting roughly 90 minutes of sleep every night while I was doing these overnights. And so I was super sleep deprived. And on the third day of overnights, I was like, oh, I got a book coming out. Like it's coming out, and I think it's this week or next week. And so I started doing social media posts, being like, it's coming out this week. It's gonna be awesome. You guys should check it out. And then like once I got more than 3 hours of sleep, I was like, oh crap, I got to go online and tell everybody I messed up. And so if you saw those and then you went to your comic shop and asked for it, and they looked at you like you were crazy, I'm sorry. You can tell them that's my fault, because the creator didn't know when his own book came out. But I can say for a fact that it does come out this Wednesday, July 22nd. So yeah.
Coincidentally, right before you came on, I was just talking about it for a good 3 to 4 minute stretch about what it
Yeah.
means to me, how much I like it, how much I've been looking forward to this dropping. Well, yeah, there's 4 books dropping this Wednesday that I've been dying for. And like you just made mention, I'm that same guy. It's been going to the shop for the past 4 weeks straight every Wednesday going, where's my books?
Yeah.
Oh no, they're not coming out this week. They're coming out, hopefully next week.
Right.
No. You told me that last week. No, we promised next week.
Yeah, they're coming.
Okay, but you told me that 2 weeks ago now. It's like, we promise.
Yeah. It's there. I mean, I don't have to tell you or anybody else on the internet or anyone who knows comics, but yeah, the Diamond shutting down and that whole deal really threw a lot of spanners and a lot of people's gears. So I think they're finally starting to get back up to speed though. So hopefully that won't be too much of an issue any longer.
Yeah, I think some things have kind of smoothed out. I'm actually seeing some type of how should I say, semblance as far as how things are being laid out. I mean, there's actually, you can see now things are being, well, how should I say? Before, you used to look at previews and things down the road, and there would be these big gaps because it was TBAs, to be
Oh, yeah.
announced type titles. They weren't certain if it was going to come out on that week or not, or even in that month.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're starting to see all those gaps fill in. Finally, you know what I mean?
Right
You're
on,
not seeing those gaps anymore, and yeah, I think finally everyone, and as far as delivery and services are concerned, I think a lot of people, because again, it was divided up between a West Coast, East Coast situation.
Right.
So
Right.
who was going to pick up where and when? It wasn't just where, but when. Am I going to do it on Wednesday for next Wednesday, or am I actually going to do it on the Thursday for, what I mean? So it took at least a solid month before they decided even who was going to go at the split.
Mm-hmm.
And then it took about another 2 weeks to say, well, when are they going to start doing shipments? Because some people were getting things 3 to 4 days early, meaning if they normally get it Tuesday morning, they were getting it on Saturday.
Yeah.
Some people were getting it as late as Tuesday night, which put them in, Wednesday morning going, oh my God,
Gosh. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. But I'm happy and stoked for your book, man. Yours, like I said, there's yours, there's Garrett's, there's David's as far as the Warcorns and
oh yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I was looking forward to that one. I didn't know that was this week.
Yeah, well, that's another one that I was saying it along with yours. Oh, that's the other one. And No Heroin comes out this week.
That's right. Yeah.
So Frank's book. So everyone's books comes out on this was my week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but it was supposed to be 4 weeks ago. So I'm like, all right,
right.
Probably not here. Well, okay.
Well, glad that they all still sort of landed around the same time for you.
Exactly.
Christmas Day is still coming.
Well, and I know how it is. I have this rule that I do not read my stuff until I log them in. Uh-huh. So it's my work before the reward thing.
Yeah.
So, well, Kai doesn't adhere that. So as I'm logging him in, he's taking them and reading them. So he'll come back to me and ask me every time. That's his way of jabbing me. So did you read that yet? Well, no, I'm logging it in. Oh, yeah, you're gonna love it. It's like, don't tell me.
Well, so the weird thing with Sweetheart is that the digitals were supposed to all come out at the same time as the print ones, and so it's supposed to be a monthly release on Comixology, and then in concurrent with the in-shop releases. But then when everything shut down, they just did a weekly release of that, and so there's this weird disconnect between. You can see the divide of people who read digital and the people who do not read digital, because the story is out there at this point. But if you don't read, and the overlap on those two markets is very, very thin. There's almost no overlap for whatever reason. And so people that read digital have read it, and the people have not. And so there was this weird time where people feel like they can talk about it a lot because it came out a little while ago, some months ago. But like a lot of people don't want to be spoiled for it, and so they're trying to avoid stuff online for it. And so I don't know. It's just a weird thing that I never really thought about when it happened, and it's kind of interesting to watch unfold.
I'm glad you brought that up because it's not something I've actually either addressed or made serious consideration of. Because outside of what you had disclosed to me, I have not reread it since that time.
Oh yeah.
No, purposely, because I'm that secondary guy that you're speaking of. Is I want to go. I'm tangible. I need to touch it. I need to feel it. I need to smell it. Whatever, however, you know what I mean. I need to appease every sense. To me that's along with the story that you tell. That's another part of the story that I gravitate to. If that makes sense.
Right on. Yeah. No, I totally get that. When I read comics, it's fortunately I have a really terrible memory, and so if one of my mutuals on Twitter, another creator or something, sends me their work and they're like, hey, check this out, or here's the issue, it comes out in a couple weeks or whatever, if you want to check it out, And so I'll read it, and like it, even regardless of how great it is, it could be one of the greatest books I've ever read. But by the time it comes out, like I've almost completely forgotten all the details of what happened in it. And so I see it and I'm like, oh yeah, this book, I remember that it was good. And so I'll pick it up again and definitely read it and to support the people's work. But yeah, and then like monthly titles that come out every month, I have to go back to my pull box and pull last month's issue and then flip through it like, oh yeah, okay, I got you, I got it, and then read the next issue. And so yeah, no, I totally get that.
Full disclosure, everything that you just stated, I'm identical. You just described me in a nutshell.
Yeah,
I'm the
perfect.
same way. Yeah, I constantly, and I know that's both bad, but I guess I'm always, in some regards, it's good because I'm always like, hey, look, I get to reread it all over again. It's kind of like that bad joke of when you see the person in the mirror, you're like, hey, look, someone new.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not quite that bad, but yeah, I between the amount of books that I'm reading and there's such a vast variety of books that I'm reading
Right.
that it does leave things to be a little vague in the memory of what the fuck did I just read?
Right. Yep. A lot of people wait for the trades. If you want to pick up the trade too, everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one, I do highly recommend the floppies because I like collecting the individual art pieces, and two, for that continuity sake. Oh yeah, I mean, I especially, I guess stories like yours where you are telling definitive tales and definitive pieces that do make an overall story. There's a global story to be told.
Yeah.
But you can individually read each piece and get an individual story out of it. But to read it as a trade allows it to flow a lot more as opposed to read it as individual, which you could do and still get an individual story. You can walk away and not read the forward or back.
Yeah, that was the thing too. So when I was after this, I mean, this was all in hindsight. Like I didn't plan this at all, but with Sweetheart, I wrote it all, and like there are some time jumps that happen between issues, and each issue itself becomes almost like this self-contained little story. There's obviously context that you want to have before and after to get the overall view, but if especially with issues 1 and 2, you don't absolutely need to have the previous issue or the following issue to feel like you've read a nice little package, right? And they end slightly open-ended, but like if you read any anthology books, like every anthology story for the most part ends on an open, like it's just like, oh, there's some interesting stuff in there, like it's an interesting idea, you explore it, you tell a story within that world, and then that's kind of it. And so if you want something that has more of a period on the end of it, read the whole thing. But again, like if you just pick up issue 2, then you'll feel satisfied. I would hope that you would feel justified paying the price of admission, the cover price for the book.
Which, again, you said the exact words in which that I pretty much read it, because what I did is when you give it to me, I obviously read issue 1, which I have a few now. And I read issue 2, but I purposely went backwards too. Yeah. Just to see if it did fall into to make still sense. Yeah. So what I did is I read issue 1 first, issue 2, and then I read issue 2 and went back to issue 1 and said, you can go either way.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Easily.
Yeah. Yes. And when we did it too, this is, I mean, there are a few moments where we implemented, trying to think of the term for it, it sort of echoes, I guess. And so a lot of things that happen in the first issue will echo throughout issue 2, issue 3, issue 4, issue 5, and not just in the sense that like in a straightforward narrative sense that like what comes before is important for what comes after, but like the way the panels are constructed and the tone and the movements of a lot of the characters and a lot of the scenes in issue 1 are directly repeated in issue 5, but done so with different characters with different context. And so that to me felt it was really cool to sort of put together that it was this nice symmetrical storyline, the story piece. For some reason I think was it George Lucas talks about that with Star Wars. He was like, they have to rhyme or something like that. He had some weird philosophy about how the Star Wars movies were supposed to go, that they're supposed to rhyme.
Interesting.
Don't ask me what the hell that means, but that's kind of what it is that you have to inject a lot of similarity in the visuals and in the scenes and stuff to try and make it feel more cohesive with everything else, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense, but
oh, absolutely. But the cool thing is your particular writing style does come forward, meaning your writing style does set yourself apart, and you see it in the way it's told. Yes, it's kind of told in like an anthology style, but there's a definitive direction and that you're going, and an underlining theme that you have going on in there too.
Yeah.
So that's something that I really like, is that no matter what you're saying in the story, there's an underlining tale. There's an underlining message. That's the underlining continuity between everything.
Yeah.
I dig that.
Thanks, man. I'm glad you like it. I hope other people like it too. Yeah.
And that's what I was just going to say. I think when people really catch on, and I think if they were to pick up the book, which again, this Wednesday, I think you'll want to go backwards and say, hey, yeah, I from what I'm hearing, I can actually pick up one, and either way, it's fine, Yeah. And even if you have to go to digital, people.
Nothing wrong with being digital.
Now, you said, isn't it 6 issues in this arc?
It's 5 issues for this one. We had an idea for a 6th issue, but I don't know if we'll ever explore that too much or not. But no, this arc is 5 issues long.
Nice.
So again, shameless plug, everybody. Sweetheart #2 comes out this Wednesday. If you haven't already, just go tell your local comic shop that you're interested and that you want to check it out. If they don't already have it in the shop, then they will order some for you the next time they get a shipment in.
And that is, isn't that Aftershock?
Nope, that is Action Lab, Danger Zone.
I knew it was an A. I knew it was an A.
That's all right. I mix stuff up all the time. Not a big deal. Yeah, Action Lab, Danger Zone.
Action Lab, that's right. Yeah, and and luckily I have a couple shops that have been carrying some Action Lab stuff, so it was easy for me to make a suggestion. But yeah, you can contact your shop, and I'm sure that they can make arrangements. And if not, even if you have to, contact me, man. I'll figure it out.
Right on, yeah. You heard him.
Exactly. We'll figure something out.
Cool, man.
Yeah, so if everything falls right, I mean, are you back online to where these things are falling every month now?
Yeah, so from what I believe, so yeah. So there's some behind the scenes chess pieces moving around, but as far as I know, the remaining issues 2 through 5 will drop monthly now. So expect to have them back every month.
So if everyone is lucky, I mean, myself included, we may actually have a trade somewhere in that Christmas or just after period.
Let's see. I got to think. They had a schedule out for it. The way they schedule it is usually the trade will come out. Trying to remember. I'm going to say it wrong. I'm going to give wrong information, but it's supposed to be like, I think 3 months, maybe 2 months after the final issue drops is when they start putting out the trades.
Okay.
And so what is it? July, August, September, October, November.
So yeah, we'll be looking around that February time.
In winter, sometime in the winter.
Cool. Nice. Oh, hey, see, Two Gun right there, man. He said he dug. Now, if I recall, Two Gun, were you not the recipient of the book that I sent out? I think he was. So right there, there's a fan right there.
Are you seeing that? Oh, you can click the comment. Oh, there's people talking over here. What?
Oh, hey, you didn't know that? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, no,
Yeah,
that's all good. I don't know how a lot of streaming services work, but I found it, and that's rad. I didn't know that people could see it.
yeah,
Yeah. Bearded comic bro. We're talking about Sweetheart. So that was like what 11 minutes ago. Sorry, we didn't get to that.
yeah. No, these are, and every single one of these newbie, two gun, bearded. All these guys have not only been around for a while, but like Two Gun even made mention. He's read Sweetheart and he digs it.
Yeah, thanks,
There's
Tugan. I'm
Ben
glad you like it.
Thompson in here, Simon, and it wouldn't surprise me if more than half of these people that are in here are probably familiar with the title because they know that with the stuff I'm into. So I'm sure they're familiar with at least the title, if not you too. Yeah, that was the signed copy. Cool, Two Gun. I'm glad you enjoyed it. So hey, yeah, keep an eye out for Sweetheart number 2. Two Gun drops this Wednesday. Hey, Comic Crazy, it's good to see you, sir. So yeah, I'm glad that it finally got to catch up. I know, like I said, I've been hitting up my shops, and finally that they were the ones that have been actually asking me to do some research for them to find out. So I've been able to go around to some of the shops and go, okay, I found out these are the books that are dropping. So that way they can tell their customers because they've been getting hit up and no one knows what's going on. So
yeah, I got hit up from a few shops and a few people on Facebook and stuff because a lot of times publishers themselves aren't terribly forthcoming with like their scheduling and how things are going to go, or when like if there's a delay on a book, then it might take a while for people to know. And so I got a lot of people reaching out asking where it was or when it was coming out, and for long, like I didn't know either, like because everything was shut down, nobody really knew. But it feels good to be able to reach out and tell people now that it's actually coming out and when it's coming out correctly. Not that
right. Well, I've been talking to a couple of people, actually, a couple of the publishers, and their biggest fear is being held accountable for saying something to the writers and the artists.
Oh, yeah.
So when they're saying, we're going to do it, we're going to throw it out there, and then you guys, hey, I've been plugging it, I've been doing this, and they go, we're sorry.
Yeah.
They don't want that egg. So they would rather apologize to you, from what I've been gathering. I mean, this is not, I should say, this is my impression. I can't say that this is verbatim.
Sure.
Is that they would rather apologize to you and to the other LCSs and say, we're sorry that we can't give you a definitive timeline, as opposed to giving you a timeline and then not meet that quota.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. It's playing better safe than sorry, or trying to play things close to the vest, and it's just better that way.
I mean, it hurts you guys because here you guys are on that edge of the seat going, so when can we say something?
Yeah, it's one of those things that like it's tough with stuff like that because it's unfortunate for us, and in some ways it hurts us, but like it's the smarter business decision, I guess, which sucks to say, but I get it. It sucks, but I get it, kind of a thing.
Right.
Those are always the worst. Stuff that I can't be mad about because I understand it.
Well, and that's the thing is, we're all in this situation, you know what I mean? And even though we're all in it together, we're all in it together separately.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So we're all going through our own individual thing. And it's, even though we're in it together, it's like, fuck, you don't know what I'm going through, man. It's weird. So I do sympathize and I empathize because and that's why, again, I've been not only trying to talk with people like you, but I've been talking with publishers, I've been talking with the LCSs, and I'm trying to get some understanding of what's going on and who's dropping what. That way I can even try to say, hey, look for this, look for that. Oh, by the way, like I did on a couple of titles, I said, hey, look, I know this is going to be hot. So if you don't order a few more, you might get caught with your pants down when you guys actually need the money now.
Yeah.
So, again, let's say for you, the last thing an LCS wants to do is only have 2 or 3 or 5 copies of yours. And you got 10 people going, I need a copy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It does you no good or them.
I still got a lot of comps. So, yeah, sure. I mean, so I got a bunch of issue 1s that I stacked up on for cons that are no longer happening. And like the timing with number ones is weird, because if you're bringing it to cons shortly before it comes, if you're bringing it to cons before the trade, like that's great, that's perfect, that's ideal. But if you bring them to cons after the trade comes out, like they still sell better than like an issue 3,
Right.
or something like that, because people will use it as sort of like a jumping on point. Like people understand that issue 1 is where the story starts, right? And so they'll still sell, but usually not as good as the trade, because it's more bang for your buck that way. But if everybody wants an issue 1, like just hit me up on Twitter or something, and like I'll see what I can do. I can wrap one up and try and ship one out to you. And so if you're having issues tracking down issue 1, don't pay some stupid amount of money on eBay for it. Just
and we've been doing these 1-2 Comic Talk indie boxes. So we've been out like 3 a month.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe what I'll do is I'll talk to you. I'll pick up 5 from you directly, and then maybe even issue 2s. That way we can get people on board of a 1 and 2 and just send those things out. You know what I mean? You and I will figure something out for the community. That way we can get them on board with this book.
That would be awesome. Yeah, let's do that. Absolutely.
So what have you been doing other than, I mean, out on night, what are you doing for your sanity in this type of, because I used to work nights like this for, God, it must have been around 5 or 6 years. So I know what it's like. But I had a couple of little breakaway things that kept my sanity going. So what are you doing?
My dog helps a lot. I love my dog so much. We got him in January, and he's just the best. He's also, I guess he also lends to my insanity as well. Like if he needs to go out at bad times or anything ridiculous like that. But I've been listening to a lot of audiobooks. Like I find myself, I'm too tired to read. And so I'll just lay down and just like listen to an audiobook for a while. And I think last time I was on here, I think I mentioned this, but I've been playing a lot of a game called Hunt Showdown. And like I can't stop playing it. And so I mean maybe I didn't mention it on here, but I seem like I talk about it a lot. But it's this game.
You might have, and Kai probably touched on it, but I'm such a non-gamer, and he's living on his fucking games again.
It's a first-person shooter game, but it's like it's kind of like Capture the Flag, but there's only one flag, and there's multiple teams trying to get it. And the flag is trying to kill you. And so you're on a team with a friend, and you're trying to go kill this monster and collect the bounty from the monster, and then escape without other teams hunting you down and killing you, and then taking the bounty for themselves. And so it's a battle royale game, kind of like that. But like I don't like Fortnite. I don't like Call of Duty. I'm really bad at them. I just, for whatever reason, didn't really see the appeal. But for whatever reason, the way this one plays, I can't put it down. I'm playing it so often. Whenever I'm not writing, it feels like I'm playing that game.
That's weird, because what you're describing is identical to, well, almost identical. What he's playing is this game that I told him, I go, it sounds like it's Capture the Flag.
Yeah,
but what it is, you have one side and you have another, and there's like these 2 diamond pots, and you have to sit there, and there's like these different routes, just 3 different routes. And you're constantly trying to build this army to infiltrate one side, and the other one's trying to do the same.
Oh, interesting.
Capture the flag, essentially.
Yeah. I don't know what that one is. I think that's a different game that you're describing, but it sounds interesting.
Oh, and you're constantly building structure, and that's another thing he's been playing, where you're constantly building rail guns, and you have to build your mech thing up to the structure thing, and
sure.
And it takes us mega hours. So he's always harvesting. He goes to sleep at night and lets it harvest at night.
Oh yeah.
And it's fuck. The cool thing is luckily he's been skating. Yeah. You know what I mean? He is outside. I am throwing dirt at him every once in a while I'm working outside in the backyard.
Right. What are you working on out back there? You got like a garden, or you're building something or something?
Yeah, man. One of the things I want to do is when we get in a safe society to where we can kind of congregate again, sure. I have built this sunken fire pit.
Oh, cool.
In the center of my yard.
Yeah, that's rad.
You walk down in, and you can sit on the retaining wall.
Right.
it divides my yard into 3 areas. I'm a hey superpower. I'm like an ordained Shinto Buddhist monk thing. So what I've done because of that is, um, I divided my yard into 3, and it's the mind, body, and soul. I built my own little meditation center, so it's
Oh, that's
and
rad.
I have a little area that it'll be like a recreation center, and then I have a barbecue area.
Yeah.
And then what I did is to make sure I had my elements. I built a pond, and I have my fire.
Yeah.
And then when you open up, because I'm only one house away, and I live down the street where it's like a wind tunnel, I have all
Yeah.
this air. And then because the way everything is going to be, and I put in my sod, yeah, I'm really into gardening and shit like that. So
Right.
the idea is I will have my earth, air, wind, and fire,
That's cool, dude.
and my water and yeah.
Yes.
So the idea is I can invite people like you to hang out, and we can just, hey man, let's have a barbecue. I know a bunch of people that live around here as far as artists and creators, and it'll be like a I don't know, a barbecue and draw. Just
That's
to hang out, and I
sounds
even
rad.
got
Yeah, dude. I love the theme of that. I like the thought that went into the structure follows function kind of a thing with your theme. Sounds great.
and I have a projector that I actually really originally bought for kids for Halloween. I project little songs and themes on pumpkins for kids to come
Whoa.
over and watch. And during Halloween, I give out comic books.
Nice.
But I have this gigantic drop for a screen. I can actually project movies, or we can do whatever back in the backyard and light a fire and hang out. And I built it perfect. A barbecue stick or a marshmallow stick. It's 30 inches. So I've actually built the distance of the sitting area 30 inches, so you can
nice.
roast your marshmallow.
That's smart. That's smart.
I know it's anal, but shit.
No, that's good. If you're gonna do it right. That sounds rad.
The idea, it actually stemmed from trying to keep my kids here. If they're gonna party, keep them here. If they want to do anything. So it's kind of worked out. I'm almost got everything done, and you see me and Kai and my daughter, and yeah, it's working out.
Right on, dude. I'm glad. Yeah, that sounds awesome. I'm glad that's working out.
It was a 6-year plan that it was supposed to be done 4 years ago.
Oh, man.
So luckily, I have time, and I've been working on that. So
yeah, you're not on a deadline. Everybody giving you orders for it. Don't let it stress you out. Just do it.
I'm actually really close. Now this will kind of trip you out. I actually removed 10 cubic yards of dirt in the front yard.
Oh wow.
And just got rid of it. And then and I don't mean like a tractor or anything, shoveled.
Oh,
and then
gosh.
I got rid of 20 cubic yards in the back. And now what I have to do is, you can't just think that you can move grass or dirt or anything around. Everything flows, right? Water has to flow from the back. And so, I have to make all these neat little gullies and make sure all the water can properly flow, so I don't make like a sinkhole in my backyard.
Right. I would be afraid to like hit a pipe or some underground wiring or something if I was doing that. It'd freak me out.
I actually did do some research, and I did pull some cool stuff up, but all it was just late 40s and early 50s, like clotheslines, old incinerations, because they used to be able to burn your garbage back then.
Oh right, yeah, we used to do that when I was a kid too. I used to have a lot of fun throwing batteries into it.
Oh fuck!
When I was like 7 years old, I'd go out there with some 9-volt batteries and toss them in there. Don't tell anybody
cool.
I did that.
Reaction? No, not at all. You know what? It was all pure for science.
Yeah. I was recording it and everything. I took notes.
Exactly.
Comic crazy. What are Shaolin ribs?
Boogie Wonderland jamming through the rose speaker rocks near the fire pit. Yeah. Shaolin ribs. That I don't know, but Shaolin ribs. Oh, yes. Shaolin ribs are a barbecue style. It's a barbecue Shaolin ribs. Think of like Mongolian.
Yeah.
That I
Yeah, yeah.
So you can do that, and then yes, that is it. Comic Crazy. You are exactly amongst style
Monk
barbecue.
style barbecue. Interesting.
He's exactly right in the sense that I am going to set up speaker systems with rocks, and there'll
Yeah,
be Wi-Fi, so I can actually have them. And follow me on this. If you have 8 speakers, and if you make the first one left and the second one right, then you go right, left, left, right, right, left. So no matter where you're at in the yard, it's still a stereo effect.
that's interesting. I don't know a lot about sound theory or how that kind of stuff works, but the way you explain it makes sense to me. Sounds good.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually the head audio over at the Shrine Auditorium.
Oh no shit. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I work for Local 33. I've been in there for like 3 decades plus.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm actually known for my lighting. When I work TV, I do lighting, and then when I work legitimate theater, I do sound and video.
Right. All right.
So my normally I hang out in TV land. That's usually where I like to play.
Mm-hmm. That's
My
cool,
comfort
man.
zone. Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, that'll be cool when that's done. I mean, whenever the time comes that it's feasible, that'd be cool to do.
Yeah, I mean, most definitely. I am so looking forward to being able to, well, even like this, the idea of this is to try to get artists and creators together that you guys would normally be getting together in the bars to try to
Right.
hang out. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
So that was the theme behind this, and it's the same thing with what I want to do back here is either before or after cons, or because of the fact that there is no cons.
Right.
Being that I'm so close to LAX and someone wants to crash or hang out with, I mean, that's what I would love to be able to have this place for people that need it.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome. That's a cool dream.
yeah,
Into
well,
it.
thanks. Yeah, it should be cool. I look forward to being able to roast some s'mores back there and watch a movie too.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Well, hey, I think this was a great night. I say we call it here. Those people that have not heard us say it enough, one, Warcorns drops. That is a source point. That one I do know, by Garrett Gunn. Another one, Frank Gogol, his book drops. I want to say that's also source point. That is a no heroin. That will end up no heroin #1 that drops this Wednesday. That was another one that I want to speak about. Also, this fine gentleman that's before us now, his #2 issue of Sweetheart drops. So if you require an issue #1, you can definitely hit me up, and or you can hit Dylan up. He and I will be talking soon after this, and we're going to figure out on our next 1-2 comic talk indie box to put in issue 1 and 2 in there. We're going to figure this out. Yeah, Steve, I'll try to margarita you if I can.
Yeah.
And then one last one, it will be Mr. David Boer and Drew Zucker. Their one-shot Kanto and the Clockwork Fairies drops this Wednesday, and they will be doing an interview with Kai and I at 5 o'clock Pacific. Please join us. That is our 1-year anniversary, and we look forward to seeing everybody there. From us at 1-2 Comic Talk, thank you very much, everybody. We appreciate you hanging out.
Thanks, y'all.